A handful of billionaires are quietly buying massive stretches of desert, not for ranches, not for solar farms, but to build entirely new AI-run cities from scratch. Why? In Nevada, California, Texas, and beyond, shell companies linked to tech founders have spent billions acquiring empty land, thousands of acres, flat, dry, isolated, perfectly blank. Their vision isn't just another tech hub, it's something far more radical: autonomous, semi-sovereign cities designed around artificial intelligence from day one. Zoom out and you see the American West, vast deserts, glowing under the sun, largely uninhabited. To most people, it's empty space. To Silicon Valley, it's opportunity. Desert land is cheap compared to coastal cities. Fewer neighbors, fewer zoning fights, fewer decades of legacy infrastructure tying your hands. But the real attraction isn't sand, it's freedom, a blank legal and political canvas where new rules can be written alongside new roads. Many tech founders believe modern governments move too slowly for exponential technology. Regulations lag, permits drag, innovation suffocates under paperwork. So instead of lobbying for reform, some are asking a bigger question: what if we just built a new city, or even a new kind of country? This idea has a name: charter cities, special jurisdictions with their own governance structures, optimized for growth, efficiency, and experimentation. At the center of these proposed cities sits an AI brain, massive data centers coordinating traffic, utilities, logistics, and even policy recommendations in real time. Imagine a city where every building, vehicle, and power line feeds data into a glowing digital nervous system constantly optimizing itself. Construction could be handled by fleets of autonomous robots assembling modular housing with machine precision, 24 hours a day. Streets might be designed primarily for autonomous vehicles, flowing in choreographed patterns without traffic lights or human drivers. Above, drones zip between distribution hubs and homes, delivering medicine, food, and hardware in minutes instead of days. Governance itself could be partially automated. Algorithms flag inefficiencies, simulate policy outcomes, and suggest changes before humans even debate them. Residents might carry blockchain-based digital identities, voting, paying taxes, and accessing services through cryptographically secure smart contracts. Taxes could be coded directly into transactions, revenue allocation transparent on public ledgers, bureaucracy reduced to dashboards and audits. Supporters argue this eliminates corruption and red tape. Critics argue it replaces elected officials with opaque code written by private engineers. This isn't entirely new. Special economic zones like Shenzhen were once experimental spaces with different rules to accelerate development. Company towns in the industrial age blurred the line between corporation and government, providing housing, jobs, and services under one owner. More recently, seasteading startups tried building floating cities in international waters, escaping national regulation altogether. But oceans are unstable, expensive, and politically complicated. Deserts, by contrast, sit quietly within existing borders. Still, building a city in the desert means confronting physics. The first enemy is water. Pipelines, desalination plants, or advanced recycling systems would need to pump and purify every drop for residents and industry. Energy, however, is abundant. Blazing sunlight makes deserts ideal for massive solar arrays stretching to the horizon. Some proposals even include small modular nuclear reactors, compact power sources providing stable electricity for AI data centers. Housing could rise as prefabricated modules, stacked, snapped together, expanded as population grows like digital Lego bricks. Climate-controlled districts or partial domes might shield residents from extreme heat, creating artificial microclimates inside hostile terrain. Security would likely be pervasive: cameras, sensors, biometric gates, an always-watching network trained to detect anomalies instantly. Supporters call it safety and efficiency. Critics call it surveillance capitalism made physical. There are deeper worries too. Who gets to live in these cities? Highly paid engineers, or also service workers with fewer rights? If governance is coded, how do you protest? How do you organize? What happens when the algorithm makes a mistake? When corporations control land, housing, data, and infrastructure, power concentrates in ways that democracies usually try to diffuse. Nation-states may tolerate experimentation until a city grows powerful enough to challenge federal authority or global norms. Some governments are intrigued, offering tax incentives and flexible regulations to attract futuristic development and jobs. Local officials see infrastructure investments, high-skill employment, and rising property values in otherwise stagnant regions. But indigenous groups have also raised concerns about land rights and historical claims tied to supposedly empty desert land. Environmentalists question whether paving fragile ecosystems for server farms and suburbs is truly sustainable progress. For AI companies, though, purpose-built cities offer a giant laboratory, self-driving cars, delivery drones, and robotic policing tested at scale. Biotech firms imagine regulated zones for gene therapies, longevity treatments, and experimental medical procedures. Education could be reimagined too, AI tutors personalized for every child. Economically, these cities might run on crypto rails, attracting global capital, digital nomads, and remote workers seeking low taxes. Marketing materials already paint glossy utopias: clean streets, seamless transit, abundant energy, and frictionless governance. But history reminds us that utopias often hide trade-offs: inequality, dependence, and systems that work beautifully until they don't. A drought, a cyber attack, a financial crash. What happens when a hyper-optimized city faces chaos its models didn't predict? We might see a fork in the future. Some AI cities thriving as efficient, green hubs of innovation. Others could become cautionary tales, corporate experiments that underestimated human complexity and democratic accountability. So, when Silicon Valley buys desert land, it's not just real estate speculation. It's an attempt to redesign society itself. The question isn't whether these cities can be built. It's who they will ultimately serve, and whether we get to choose.